Look who's back, Carlos Correa, wearing number 1 after missing 36 games. He's got the rainbow jerseys on as we're kicking it back to 1979 tonight as the Astros take on the Seattle Mariners. A little turn back the clock night as we welcome you back to the 70s. Mariners and Astros playing game 2 of this 4-game series from Minute Maid Park. Hi everybody, welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Looking good in those rainbow jerseys, Blummer.
Kind of digging it. I'm feeling it. Shagadelic right now.
There you go. And the Mariners have their little powder blue, the old school late 70s unis tonight. The good news for the Astros is after coming off a loss last night, they get back one of their key members of their offense, Carlos Correa.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a throwback because of the uniforms, but it's also a throwback for this Astros offense to see Carlos Correa back in that lineup.
And our Toyota get out and play. He is back, playing shortstop and batting third.
They are going to be very happy to have at least one of those guys back in that lineup. We know that Springer and Altuve still on that DL, but this guy has been clutch throughout his entire career as a Houston Astro. He's going to be a pleasure to have him back on the field. I got to give a lot of credit to the guys that are currently on the field without Correa. They did a great job of battling, keeping this boat moving down that stream, so to speak. But Kevin Carlos Correa back is going to just inspire these guys a little bit more. It's going to change the dynamic on defense. We're going to see Bregman back at third base. Yuli goes back to first base. And it's also going to adjust that lineup too. Tony Kemp's going to be leading off. But Carlos Correa back in the middle of that lineup. All of a sudden, you start moving guys down, create a little more depth in that lineup. A.J. Hinch is going to love having him back.
I think that's important to point also about the defense guys back in their regular spots. Over the last 162, these numbers are out of control.
Yeah, this is why this guy is so necessary for A.J. Hinch. He is a potential MVP. I know he came out of spring training with intentions of maybe being in that MVP vote, but it's just nice to get him back in. His time will come, but right now it's make sure he's healthy, get him in that lineup, get him producing.
Well, Carlos Correa back in there tonight for the Houston Astros, and he'll hope to provide a little punch in the offense for Gerrit Cole, who's on the mound. It'll be Cole going for the Astros against Mike Leake for the Seattle Mariners. We're turning back the clock to 1979 tonight. Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try something different like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls for a limited time. Gerrit Cole pitching at home tonight. It's been a little while since he's been at home, but his last 3 here have been very good, Bloomer.
Yeah, it has been a while. The interesting thing is the walks have piled up a little bit, but he's been able to pitch out of some damage, and I think a lot of the reason for that, keeping that ERA at 1.08, even with traffic out there, is the ability to strike guys out. In those 3 starts, 27 strikeouts, 8 against the Kansas City Royals, 11 against the A's, and 8 against those Detroit Tigers. It'll be a welcome home party for Gerrit Cole tonight, trying to back up Justin Verlander's outing last night.
Gerrit Cole, the rest of the Astros wearing the rainbow jerseys tonight. We'll have Bart Ennis having a little more on turning back the clock to 1979.
Trying to get it going here at home. They are once again the best road team in baseball, but at home this year so far just 7 games over 500, and after a difficult loss last night, looking to get back in the win column. Now they got 2 things going for them tonight: the return of Carlos Correa, which the guys have already talked about, but also they're wearing the throwback rainbow uniforms honoring the 1979 Astros. And in our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight, we'll let you know what that means. This is the 3rd time they have played the Mariners wearing the rainbow uniforms, and they have won each of the 2 previous games. Back in May of 2014, George Springer had a huge game with a couple of bombs wearing the rainbows. And then last year they wore them again against the Mariners. Josh Reddick had a big day, and the Astros won it once again. Now, that 79 team had a great pitching staff, including J.R. Richard, who led the majors with 318 strikeouts. And that's what these 2 teams have in common, because the Astros this year, behind Gerrit Cole and all the rest, their starters lead the majors with a 3.05 ERA entering play tonight. So don't change the channel over to the Dukes of Hazzard. Stay right here, because we're going to party like it's 1979. We're going to put on a Donna Summer album, and the real key guy is the rainbow jerseys. They're yellow, they're orange, they are polyester. It's 1979, guys.
Gotta love the throwback look as Gerrit Cole's on the mound tonight for the Houston Astros.
Yeah, right down to the Sanzabelt pants. Those are real nice. 23 starts. Gerrit Cole has fantastic numbers. 202 strikeouts in those 23 starts. 1-1 with a 1.32 ERA against the Seattle Mariners. Hasn't pitched a lot at home of late, But on the season here at home at Minute Maid Park, he has a 2.52 ERA, and he struck out 95 of those 202 in front of the hometown fans.
Here's the lineup that he will see tonight for the Seattle Mariners wearing their 79 retro uniforms. It's the same lineup as last night. If it looks familiar, why change it if you're Scott Service? It worked very well in their 8-6 win last night. Mitch Haniger, Denard Span, and Gene Segura all had 3 hits and all had a home run. Mitch Haniger ended up with a 4-hit night. Nelson Cruz is the DH. Kyle Seager plays 3rd and bats 5th. Mike Zunino behind the plate hitting 6th. Ryan Healy at first base bats 7th. Cameron Maven is in center field. He'll bat 8th. And D. Gordon, who was moved down to the 9th spot last night, stays there and plays second base. Defensively tonight, behind Gerrit Cole, Tony Kemp's going to get a start in left field with Jake Marisnick and Josh Reddick. Alex Bregman goes back to his familiar third base spot after 12 straight starts at short. There is Carlos Correa returning after missing 36 games. Marwin Gonzalez plays second, and Yuli Gurriel over at first base. Martin Maldonado catching Gerrit Cole for the first time. We will have special guests throughout the course of tonight's broadcast as well as part of this Legends Weekend. Bob Aspromonte, Reed Ryan, and Kevin Bass will join us throughout the telecast, and we are underway on a Friday night. Big crowd here as usual on a Friday night. Big and bright Friday night's a popular evening here at Minute Maid Park as Mitch Haniger takes a called strike. Gotta love the old Matrix scoreboard on El Grande tonight, going back to the old school look.
Yeah, you're just kind of waiting for a game of Pac-Man to break out.
That is well done.
I cannot wait for the first Astro that hits a home run.
Exploding scoreboard.
Yes.
Really?
They have to, don't they?
I'm hoping. 2-1 the count. Gerrit Cole doesn't like that call from Doug Eddings. Justin Verlander lasted just 2 innings last night after he was ejected by Nick Lentz, arguing about a balk call in that game. 2-1 pitch is popped high in the air. Maldonado in fair territory, right by home plate. That was straight up in the air, and Maldonado puts it away.
Well, that's a good start, keeping Haniger off the base paths. He retires 78% of the first batters of innings, second highest in Major League Baseball behind Dallas Keuchel.
Get a chance to see Keuchel pitch here in the series finale on Sunday. Gerrit Cole now working behind Justin Verlander in the rotation. Lance McCullers Jr. was in between them. Lance getting injured. Gerrit still working on normal rest with that off day after that series in San Francisco. Here's Denard Span taking a pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. I see these Seattle uniforms. I think Rupert Jones. Part of the 1979 Seattle Mariners. Here's a ball lofted down the foul territory. Backhand play, Bregman. What a great catch on the run in foul territory.
What makes that even more impressive is that Alex Bregman hasn't been over at third base in a while. All by himself, tracking it, realizing Tony Kemp's not in the vicinity, so he could just go all out for it. That's a great play. It's always nice when you make these plays in front of the fans. Mattress Firm Supermo gives you an idea of how tough that play actually was.
Here's a ball on the first pitch sent to Josh Reddick. Strong inning for Gerrit Cole in inning number 1. A 1-2-3 inning. Only 7 pitches needed. Kemp will move to the top spot after that 3-hit game last night. Fourth time he's been the leadoff hitter for AJ Hinch. Alex Bregman back at third base, bats second. Carlos Correa returns to the lineup for the first time since June 25th. Josh Reddick, the cleanup hitter. Yuli Gurriel at first base. Barwin Gonzalez bats sixth. Tyler White's been hot lately. He DHs tonight. Martin Maldonado behind the plate and Jake Marisnick in center.
Mike Leake on the mound for the Seattle Mariners, facing these Houston Astros. 23 starts this season. Past 6 seasons, he's gone at least 30 starts. 1.30 whip. He gives up a ton of hits. He's leading the American League in hits given up, but is able to pitch around some of the traffic that is out there. The Astros have beaten him twice this season already.
It's a guy that really pounds the strike zone.
A lot of cutters.
Tony Kemp with a good .450 average in his 5 games this year against Seattle. With that 3-hit game last night, moves that average up to 300. 20 fouls, 1 away. It's 1-2. Mike Leake started against the Astros in Seattle 2 starts ago on the final day of July. Went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs in that game. This is upstairs to Kemp, and it's 2-2. Well, it's 3-2, and Leake's a guy we mentioned pounds the strike zone. Last 4 starts, all 4 of them since the All-Star break. He hasn't walked anybody. He's the only starting pitcher who hasn't walked a batter since the All-Star break. And Tony gets called out on a pitch off the plate, it looked like.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Kemp was not happy with that call by Doug Eddings.
It's a cutter. It's coming back, but I'm not sure it catches any of the plate. You can see on our Match from Super Mode how Leake is on the side of that baseball, and what a frame job by Zunino.
Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman starts the night batting .276. He's 5 for his last 27.
Yeah, that's well off the plate. Thank you, MD Anderson.
Called strike, it's 1-1. So technically, Leake still hasn't walked anybody since the All-Star break.
Should have.
Should have.
Maybe Doug Eddings read that report.
Last time Alex had a multi-hit game was when Mike Leake started that game July 31st. Bregman had 2 hits against Leake and ended up with 3 hits in the game. Leake came out throwing strikes in that start before the Astros were able to get to him late. Scored 2 runs in the 6th inning against him. Slowly hit. Leake will field it on a couple of hops and make the play himself. And Alex is saying, I might have hit the glove of the catcher, Mike Zunino. As Alex was running down the baseline, he was pointing into his own dugout.
Thought it might have got his foot.
Oh, foul ball?
Possibly.
Alex is looking around to see if anybody saw it, and now AJ Hinch is coming out. Mike Leake fielded it himself and made the play, and Alex was motioning to his dugout as the play was being made. Oh yeah, off the heel, right?
I think it got off the toe. Bounced in front.
Oh yeah,
but it caught a little bit of that front toe. I don't know if AJ's asking Alex about replay. You know Alex's track record with the replay. He's basically an offer. That's a tough one to call. There was really no reaction from Alex Bregman. Normally when a guy fouls one off his foot or within the vicinity of his foot and he wants to sell it, they jump around or they don't run.
Here comes the crew chief, Joe West.
Really slow things down for everybody at home. You can make the call. It did change direction. I believe it hit his foot, but Nobody else in the ballpark believes it. Most importantly, the umpires. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe West is at first base.
So, a put out. 1-3 for the second out of the inning. Here's Carlos Correa getting a nice hand at his return. Correa missing 36 games. The Astros were 21-15 while Carlos was out. Last played on June 25th. Not sure if that was, I don't believe that was a reviewable play.
No, that's what I'm checking right now, and it is not.
Fair foul on the infield.
Yep.
They don't really specify about a ball hitting the foot. I think at that point you need another umpire to help out, and nobody else saw it. Well, Carlos in his first at bat is 3-0 against a pitcher who throws a lot of strikes. See if he can get one to launch in his very first at bat off the DL.
That'd be pretty special.
Yeah. There it is, the first walk since the All-Star break for Mike Leake, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Carlos Correa.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
It's interesting that Doug Eddings didn't call that foul ball off Alex Bregman's foot, yet yesterday he called a foul tip on a not foul tipped ball. Baseball's interesting.
Well, here's what I think happened in that play, and I might be wrong. I thought Nick Lentz called the foul tip, and then Eddings just said it hit the ground. No, Eddings said that ball hit the ground, which is his call from there. I think the initial call was Lentz saying foul tip.
I didn't see that. I
thinking
saw
the catcher made the catch.
Because I really saw Doug Eddings coming down the line, making real sure he told everybody foul tip down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think he was confirming the Lentz call and then saying I saw the ball down, because Lentz called foul tip, I think catch by the catcher.
Ooh.
For the strikeout, which is what Eddings overturned. Ground ball to the right side, and Reddick is retired, so Leake ends up with a walk and one man left on base.
Gerrit Cole on the mound. The four-seam fastball has been a big weapon of his last year with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Really threw that two-seam fastball. Two-seam fastballs are usually down in the zone, but we know once you become an Astro, you learn to pitch in that top portion of the zone, and that's where that four-seam fastball is going for Gerrit Cole. And what that does with his velocity is he's able to get it past some guys, get the swing and miss, but it also sets up the nasty off speed that he has breaking down out of the zone. And the lowest opponent batting average, Gerrit Cole up there at 128 since July 14th. He's also first in Major League Baseball with a 164 batting average against that fastball.
What a big weapon it's been this year. Saw those numbers, best in the AL, right ahead of a guy that used to pitch here for the Astros last year, Mike Fiers, who's now in Oakland. Facing Nelson Cruz, and Cruz misses that fastball at 95. It's 1-1. Cruz starts the day with a .266 batting average, which is a big jump from where he was early in the year. He's .298 his last 61 games, and he drives this one to left field, well struck, and that's down into the wall. Cruz heads into second base as Marisnick gets the ball back in with a leadoff double in the second inning.
Pretty good piece of hitting by Nelson Cruz. Set him away, but the fastball comes in that inner third. He does a good job of bringing the hands through early. Good lag on that barrel and squares it up.
So a runner on second base to lead off the second. Here's Kyle Seager. Seager fouls one out of play. Gerrit making his 24th start of the season. And his third against the Seattle Mariners this year, fourth of his career. There's a called strike, and Cole ahead 0-2.
StatCast AI powered by AWS shows you the shift chart that the Astros are paying attention to and why they have Carlos Correa playing behind second base, covering up the middle. Again, trying to cover as much of that area as they can, and that's where a majority of the baseballs go off the bat of Kyle Seager.
One and two the count. Cole starting the night trailing Chris Sale, Trevor Bauer, and Justin Verlander in the strikeout department. Gerrit needs 6 to take over the American League lead. There is JV, who ended up with only 2 innings of work yesterday. Mariner scoring 6 runs against him. Top of the order really doing some damage against Verlander, hitting a total of 3 home runs. Swing and a miss. Cole picks up a strikeout. Getting Seager with a breaking ball for out number 1 in the second.
Sub-1 whip, 200 plus strikeouts, and a sub-200 opponent batting average overall. There's only 3 guys doing it in the major leagues, and they are some pretty good arms. Scherzer, Chris Sale. His whip numbers are extremely good.
Justin Verlander knocked off that list last night, as his opponent's average now is up to an even 200. Mike Zunino bats. Swings and misses. It's 1-1. Zunino has struggled against the Astros this year. He's 0 for 6 against Gerrit Cole in his career. Cole's matched up before with Mike Leake, and every other time they've faced each other, it's been in the National League. Maldonado tries to pick Cruz at second. Pretty close play. Runners are going to have to get used to that with this new catcher for the Astros. Seattle very aware of Maldonado from his Angels days.
That's a great angle to watch that play unfold, because you could see Marwin Gonzalez creeping in and then covering. Will be a set sign between the middle infielder and the catcher on when they want to throw down there. A lot of times it'll be a suggestion from the middle infielder who sees that base runner extending himself a little bit.
Not to give away too many secrets, but what do you do if you're an infielder to try and you lay a sign that you have set up beforehand to the catcher?
Yeah, there's usually a sign, or I'll start, maybe opening and closing my glove real quick, just to kind of get a little wiggle, and maybe he'll give me something like he'll grab his right shin guard with his bare hand to kind of give back to me, letting him know that we're on the same page.
2-2 now to Zunino, and right in the middle of the delivery, time is called. That was a late time granted.
It was very Tiger Woods-ish. When you stop in your backswing, that was very sudden of Gerrit Cole. You don't see that too often. Usually you see the pitcher follow through and just lob one in there, but man, he hit the brakes in a hurry.
Yeah, that's fortunate nothing happened there, because that was a pretty late time called by Zunino and granted by Eddings. Called third strike. Zunino goes down looking. He's not happy, but that looked like it was a strike at the top of the zone.
That's that top portion where he showed you the heat map with that four-seam fastball. And again, right around the catcher's mask is where the top part of that zone is by the time the hitter strides out there. But I think what Zunino's a little concerned about is that first pitch on the K zone.
Yep.
Shows you it's a ball. And then pitch number 5 in a similar spot is called a strike.
Here's Ryan Healy, who takes a called strike. Healy 2 for 16 on this road trip, which has been played entirely in the Lone Star State. 3 games against the Rangers and now 4 with the Astros before Seattle heads to Oakland. Ground ball towards third. Bregman on the move, makes the throw to first in time to get Healy. After an opening double by Cruz, Gerrit Cole gets the next 3. Defeating Oklahoma, they will now move on to the Little League World Series, and before the game they met some of their heroes, Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa.
Yeah, what a huge honor for those guys to not only win and earn the opportunity to go to that World Series, but to meet some of their hometown heroes. It's like they've got their pretty good fan base in the Astros.
And it's a cool moment, the world champions meeting the Little Leaguers, who we wish the best of luck to in Williamsport.
They pound the baseball. They've got a couple of guys in their lineup that can absolutely launch.
Did you see
I watched the part of the Oklahoma game. They actually had a no-hitter going, and they had 8 runs at the time, but they've got some thump.
Just looking at some tweets about this team. Mark Appel played in that Little League. Post Oak. Yuli Gurriel at the plate, fouls one away. It's 2-2. nice to see Yuli get back on track. He's batting .283 to start tonight's play. That's the lowest since June 9th. It's been almost 2 months since Yuli's seen his batting average down at this point, and sends one to the center field, but it stays up for Cameron Maybin, who puts it away for out number 1.
2019 season tickets are now on sale. Fans who purchase season tickets now enjoy immediate benefits, including guaranteed 2018 postseason priority access. For more information, visit astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Well, Yuli's been battling it lately. This guy's been hot. Marwin Gonzalez with a 5-game hitting streak. .292 in his last 20. Marwin has that batting average up to .236 and takes a called strike. Astros dropping the opener of this series last night, 8-6. Mariners improving their record in 1- and 2-run games to 43-17, but last night did not feel like one of those 1- or 2-run games the whole way. Astros were down early 6-0 and kept battling. Never had the tying run on base the whole game. Kevin Bass in the house.
Nice.
Kevin Bass will be joining us in the 6th inning on our broadcast. Part of the Legends weekend here at Minute Maid Park. Marwin just a piece to stay alive. Marwin coming off a 4-home-run road trip, has 10 overall in the year. Hits the ball hard, fair down the right field line. Marwin takes the turn at first, played quickly by Haniger, and Marwin's going to have to hold up.
Things have been good for Marwin. Does a good job somehow keeping his fastball in and off the plate fair. In order to do that, you got to pull the hands in pretty quick, and hits a rocket past Ryan Healy, playing pretty close to that line. Just too bad he ricocheted off that wall right to Mitch Haniger, or else he'd be standing on second base.
Oh, Marwin with the Astros' first hit. Here's Tyler White. White getting the start tonight in the DH role. Evan Gattis missed 5 straight games after the Seattle series due to National League rules. Played last night, but now White in the DH spot. Gattis did hit a big home run against Mike Leake in that victory in Seattle when 1-1 game was turned around on a 2-run home run by Evan. But AJ says he's going with a hot hand, and Tyler White has been hot lately. Toy Cannon.
It's good to see these guys at the ballpark.
Big swing by Tyler. It's 2-1.
A lot of credit to the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association too for getting these guys out here. J.R. Richard out there. They put on these events and invite these guys out. It's great to see the turnout.
Runner on the move, pitches outside. Marwin's going to turn around, and he'll be in a rundown now. D. Gordon just takes the play himself.
Looked like a busted hit and run. Marwin Doesn't steal too often. He picks his spots, but peeking in gives you the idea that he was waiting to see what Tyler White was going to do and where he put the ball in play. And instead of trying to outrun D. Gordon, he just shuts it down.
That's a race you're probably not going to win. Here's Tyler with a 3-1 count, rips one foul.
Bench coach Joe Espada over there investigating.
A little quick on that, hooks it down the line, foul.
He's had some big home runs recently. That one in San Francisco was huge. Off of Ray Black, who's cranking it up to 99 miles an hour. He got the head out on that one and then turned into a closer killer last night, taking Edwin Diaz out into the Crawford boxes. Earning the right to be that DH tonight.
Chop towards third. Seager is there. Kyle's throw in time. Well, the Astros down the second. We are scoreless heading to the third.
Going to be around Carlos Correa, who's back in the lineup for the Houston Astros. Turn back the clock. Give us your favorite Carlos Correa moment. ALCS Game 2 walk-off is A. B is World Series Game 5 celebration that he doesn't remember. And C is World Series Game 7 proposal. We're going to have a good idea about our demographic at home. So vote for your favorite Carlos Correa moment at ATT Sportsnet SW. Later in this ball game, we will reveal the results.
Going to see Carlos Correa back at shortstop. What a year he was having defensively before the injury. Played brilliant short this year, the best of his career. As Cameron Maybin will lead off the top half of the third inning. Want to apologize. We thought we were going to have one of the legends in the booth this inning, Bob Aspromonte. Apparently he was unable to make it up to the booth tonight, so we'll look forward to talking to Reed Ryan next inning as Cameron Maybin sends one to center field that Jake Marisnick makes the play on for out number 1.
I think it might be me.
Why?
I was going to host Astroline in the offseason, and Bob Aspromonte was supposed to be my guest.
Okay.
He backed out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
On Astroline?
Yeah.
So you think he sees, oh, I got to work with Jeff Blum?
Yep, he goes, I don't know who that guy is. He bailed.
Come on.
I got stuck with Kevin Eschenfelder and Jim Crane.
I was looking forward to talking to Astro.
I was too.
Yeah.
I love hearing about the golden era of Astros baseball.
Kid from Brooklyn who played with the Brooklyn Dodgers before.
That's what I wanted to ask about too. Yeah, that would have been really interesting.
Well, hopefully we can have him in another portion of the weekend or possibly a future broadcast as D. Gordon sends one foul out of play. We do know we'll have a legend tomorrow. Hey, there's a guy who joined us in the broadcast booth recently, Art Howe. We know for sure we're going to have Jeff Bagwell in the booth tomorrow, the Hall of Famer. He'll be with us for all 9 innings. Good to talk to Artie the other day on the broadcast.
Yeah, he's pretty popular and a good guy.
Ground ball foul. D. Gordon with an 0-2 count. Did you like wearing these unis?
I did. And I think I actually still have my throwback jersey. A lot of times the teams will be nice enough and say, hey, do you want it? Heck yeah. As soon as I wore this thing, I've been lucky enough to play with the San Diego Padres, who have a unique jersey uniform history. And then the Astros also have a very unique jersey and team uniform history. So I've got some pretty funky uniforms. I got to wear the all mustard yellow uniform with the San Diego Padres against the Astros in Petco Park when they were wearing these rainbows. I think we blew out everybody's TV set on TV that night.
0-2 pitch. Gordon fights it off, and Alex Bregman. Love seeing him back at third base with that play, getting D. Gordon for out number 2. Go behind the scenes of Minute Maid Park with an Astros ballpark tour. The tour lets fans check out the broadcast booth, press box, dugout, scoreboard, and more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today. I hope you guys were joking about the polyester.
No, we had them on. We had a legit game jersey on in the open.
But these guys,
the throwbacks.
Now,
Yeah, I think I'm almost
old
positive
school.
they're old school
not going
polyester.
to the nicer,
no,
breathable fabrics.
No, we are throwback in every sense of the word. You got to feel it. You got to go back there and be in it.
Be part of it.
Yes. Embrace it.
Here is Mitch Haniger. Haniger grounds one to Carlos Correa. Carlos with his first play since coming back, and he makes it perfectly. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Gerrit Cole, who's retired 6 straight. Maldonado will lead things off. Maldonado, Jake Marisnick, and Tony Kemp. Martin 4 hits since joining the Astros. After starting 0 for 9, he's 3 for his. After starting 1 for 9, he's 3 for his last 9. Does have 4 RBIs in a Houston uniform. Not that uniform, but in the regular one. It's 0-1 as Mike Leake works into the 3rd inning. Leake at 34 pitches through 2. A lot of times in this season, he has been a guy first few pitches, first 25 pitches of a start. Teams have been able to get to him, and then it seems like he settles in. Although last time he faced the Astros, it was a little bit of the opposite. Astros able to get to him a little later in that start. First 25 pitches, 336 before tonight. 26 through 100 pitches. He's at 257.
You talk about him settling in. He's tied for third most games or most starts that he's gone 8 innings and allowed 2 or fewer runs. He's done that 3 times against Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and Boston in Boston.
Mike Leake will not step off the rubber.
Statue out there.
I mean, he's been in that position for about 30 seconds.
Staring contest. Me and you go.
I like it though. Pitcher ready to go. Gets the ball, gets the sign, he's ready.
Yeah, he's always worked quick.
Last year on the Players Weekend, he wore Sparky.
What?
Sparky was his
There's
nickname.
only one Sparky.
Well, apparently so, because this year he's Spike.
Okay.
He switched it. Swing and a miss from Spike, getting Martin Maldonado for out number 1.
Watch the Astros your way by downloading the AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit AT&TSportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account, you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply.
Speaking of nicknames, glad to see this guy did not change his nickname. A little flare into right field. Coming on Haniger to put it away. So Jake retired for out number 2. He'll go by Big Fudge again this year for the weekend. Nicknames. 2 outs, nobody on. Time to check in with Bart Ennis.
Thank you, TK. In our Old Dominions bringing their best segment, we're going to take a closer look at Tony Kemp's numbers, because since being called up on May the 16th, he's been bringing his best. 47 starts. The team has gone 32-15 in those starts. And you break it down this way: 31 starts in left, 13 in center, 2 in right field, 1 at DH, and he can also play second base. In fact, second base is his natural position. So this guy is versatile, but he's also been killing it out of that 9-hole, which is where he has hit almost exclusively up until tonight. Got the best numbers of any 9-hole hitter in the major leagues.
He's been having quite a year for the Astros, although this time it's a good inning for Mike Leake as he's able to get a ground out. And he's able to retire the Astros on 8 pitches after Gerrit Cole did the same in the top half. Reed Ryan with us. How you doing, Reed?
Hello, Todd. I'm glad to be here tonight. How are you, Blummer?
I'm doing great. Good to see you, Reed.
It's
You
good to
just
be
came
here.
from just a lot of stories being told out in the outfield.
So I've been out in center field tonight, hanging out with the Alumni guys, and it is story time. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You get these ball players together, and they go right back to like the clubhouse days. It's incredible.
Well, how many of those guys you've had previous relationships with a lot of these guys, right, that are showing up out here?
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, seeing Kevin Bass, seeing Art Howe, guys like Brandon Backey or Chris Sampson that played for me in the minor leagues. Jackie Moore's out there, J.R. Richard, Enos Cabell. So we're spanning from Bob Ashramani all the way to guys that retired a couple years ago.
A lot of people showing up for the weekend. Great to see the turnout of this alumni. On the ground, Correa is there in the shift, and Span is retired for the first out.
Yeah, people love the alumni weekend. They love the rainbows. Seeing the stuff that we ran before the game today, like the old shots of the dome and some of the commercials. There's a lot of fans dressed up out here tonight in 70s garb, and so it's fun to get the whole family together and kind of get everybody under that Astros tent.
Yeah, it seems to be a little more of a push with the Alumni Association really doing these Legends weekends and getting these guys back together. How much does it mean to you, and how much does it mean to the organization to have these guys come back?
Well, baseball's a family, and anybody that's played in the major leagues, that's rare air. I think in the history of baseball, there have been 20,000 major leaguers over 100+ years, and to get the guys in Houston together and the guys who are with the Astros, it's a big deal.
Here's a ball sent into left field. Tony Kemp on the move, and he makes the play on Segura, who hits the ball hard, but it's out number 2.
Well, with the 2 quick outs, how did you come about with this home run derby?
So here's the deal. Sundays we don't hit on the field.
Right.
And we wanted to do something that, we have so many people come to the game, averaging almost 37,000 fans a night, and the weekends are all over 40. So we wanted to come up with a way to try to give the people a show, and we thought, hey, it's alumni weekend. We know Blummer can hit because you did the Hall of Fame game. So I asked Craig Bijou, I said, Craig, would you think about swinging it? And he goes, heck yeah, let's do it.
You knew Bij was going to do it.
He's been hitting every day in the cave.
Has he really?
The
secret's out.
The secret's out. He got some blisters, I heard, so he's gone to the batting gloves. He ordered his bats. They came in a couple days ago.
He did tell me that today, that he ordered his bats. And he wanted some of the stuff that these guys are getting, so he wanted some of the better wood than he got when he was playing.
Well, you know what he did? He hit in slacks yesterday, he said. So
did he really?
He said he started with some soft toss. There he is right there. He's looking at his phone. He's probably getting some tips from his son right there.
Watching video, YouTube videos.
Yeah, but the question is...
he may need those for the home run derby.
He's busted. Are you bringing out the frosted tips tomorrow or on Sunday? That's the question.
If I win that thing, I will frost my tips. Yes.
Really?
Oh, you kidding me? You heard it here first. If I win this thing, I may bleach my entire head and go Alex Bregman on everybody.
So I've been looking at the Vegas lines, and Luke Scott is the leader in the clubhouse right now.
Is he really?
Is there what's the theory behind that?
Left-handed, maybe an advantage there. Short porch, really all the way to the power alley. Youngest. He was in camp, independent ball this spring.
Good point.
He has 2% body fat. So
oh my gosh, yeah, I can't compete with that. Too many of the media dining meals back here.
Gerrit Cole gave us no time to talk about this.
I'll come back for the bottom half.
You got a little time?
Yes, let's do it.
Carlos Alex Bregman will lead things off. We're joined by Reed Ryan for the bottom half of the fourth inning. Gerrit Cole cruising along, so we didn't have much of a chance to break down the home run derby. And your thoughts?
Yeah, so Blummer's at the top. You have the age. So Beach is like
Luke Scott was the favorite.
Well, no. So Craig said, "Look, I'm the only one in the 50s. You guys are in your 40s.
Yeah.
So you hit recently. Preston looks like he's in good shape.
He does look very good. Yeah.
Luke is the freshest off. So Craig's probably the long shot. Plus, he wasn't the home run hitter that you guys were. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it.
No, I'm absolutely excited about it. We had some of the rules up there. How'd you guys come up with some of the rules?
Yeah, so we kind of basically knocked off the MLB home run derby. You're going to get 3 minutes. You have a 45-second timeout if needed.
Bregman with a base hit to left to start things for the Astros in the fourth.
There we go. Got another hit going. So that'll be fun. 4 guys. You're going to swing. 3 minutes. You got a 45-second timeout, and then the top 2 guys will go to the finals, and that really will be it. The winner is going to get a trophy and an engraved bat.
That's pretty cool.
So you're playing for something?
There is something there to be played for.
Our guys in the truck made it a 1 minute 45-second timeout because
you know what?
The guys are a little older.
Yeah, they want. Yeah, maybe that was for Craig. He's going to get an extra minute.
That's Craig's rule. Love it.
But he's the Hall of Famer, so he's going to get the breaks.
I appreciate the fact that you got Brock Amani to agree to throw the home run derby. He's done it before in the All-Star game, and he throws great strikes.
And as you know, part of a great home run derby is if you don't have somebody throwing strikes,
yes,
you don't have a home run derby.
Yeah, we don't want to have a taking derby. We want to have a swing and home run derby.
So I asked Blummer yesterday or the day before about whether you're going to hit lefty or righty. You're still not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between, to be honest with you. The Crawford, I walked down there today, kind of, just cruising around the field and stood there. And I'll tell you what, that Crawford box is so appealing.
Well, you may go both. So my thought was, look, Crawford box from AT over is the shortest part, but it's a graveyard out there in the power.
Yeah, you miss the boxes, it's going to take a big blast to get it out.
Where kind of the AT&T Sportsnet over is, kind of a cheapie for the lefties.
Well, that's kind of where I lived when I played here. I knew exactly where that bullpen was, and down the right field, that was a great place to hit.
Show us something to go round one way and round 2 the other.
We may have to. If things are going good for that first minute and a half, we may have to do that.
So, look, I don't know if you guys know, but the reviews on this broadcast team have been pretty good. Really good. You guys have got a great chemistry.
We'll take your word for it.
We're loving Julia. We can't have an injury. So if it comes down to you having to go on a, analyst DL, we can't risk that, okay?
Sitting up here.
Yes,
with both obliques blown out.
Because there's only a couple of recovery days before you're on the road.
Yeah,
so
so you're going to have a training staff out there to pick me up when I go down?
Jeremiah, we could do that.
Does Jeremiah know what he's in for?
So actually, in the Alumni center field tonight with all the legends, it's the talk of the center field area.
Really?
And they're going to be out around home. I think you're going to see a lot of
these guys are going to stick around and be around the cage?
They want to.
Oh,
there's no cage.
Gosh.
No cage.
Oh, we're doing this big league.
This is big league style.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just got nervous. Legends watching me try and hit baseballs out of the ballpark. I'm in. Let's do this.
Carlos Correa walked on 4 pitches his first time up. Now a 2-2 count. I was going to cheer for Blummer anyhow, but now that we've added the new hairstyle, if he wins it, I'm going to be really.
I think Twitter's gotten a hold of that and have been listening, so my Twitter feed's been going nuts. So there's going to be maybe some extra cheering out there to see the frosted tips come back.
Well, one of the things I've been doing out in center tonight is I'm trying to recruit more alumni, and saw Eric Anthony out there. He is in great shape, and I said, hey, man, we need to get you out there. Uh-oh.
That's the new look.
So I got to ask, was that a professional, or was that like you guys in the locker room just like messing around?
I would come home after an 0 for 10, be like, babe, I need a new hairstyle. And my wife would just right there, we'd go out and get the product at the local CVS, Walgreens, and just right there at home.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a home treatment.
All right, we're going to expect to see some of this.
Oh, man. That was my rookie year wearing a big 5-0. Too bad we're not having this thing in Colorado. I might have a fighting chance.
Is that your first?
That was my first. No, that was my second one.
Second home run?
Took Mike DeJean out for my first home run. This was my first career multi-home run game.
There you go.
Dave Veers on that second one.
Boom. Still wearing 50.
Yeah, that was nice. I got the rookie treatment. I got the linebacker number when I got called up.
Hey, the way you were swinging it, you got whatever number you wanted when you got back to Montreal.
Yeah, that was the thing. Felipe Alou goes, hey, this guy with a big 5 number on his back, he can hit a baseball.
Actually, getting Moises out here would be pretty good.
Oh,
he could still
would be
launch
impressive.
one.
Without a doubt, that guy could roll out of bed and hit some bombs.
Josh Reddick bats with a runner on first and 1 out, and we're happy to have Reed Ryan in the booth with us for the 4th inning. Obviously, the home run derby caps off the entire weekend. You've got all the guys here tonight. Tomorrow, they'll be recognized before the game to the crowd, right?
Correct. We're going to have J.R. Richard throw out the first pitch tomorrow, and we're going to be doing the Beltron bobblehead giveaway, and that'll be fun. And like I said earlier, it's great to get all these guys back, and we've tried to really grow this Astros fan base. And our alumni, we have a rich history of some great players that have been here in this organization, and to see them come back and connect with the fans, autograph session tomorrow with a lot of these guys, it's just one of my favorite weekends of the year.
Are there any special Astro memories you have as a kid growing up around the Astros organization?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, '86 was an incredible year. At that point, I was at the age where I was bat boying and traveling, and so being in New York for those games, you know, '80 was a great series. I was younger. I think 4 of the 5 were extra inning games.
They were the last 4.
You know, we lost the last 3 of the year in LA, and Joe Niekro pitched an incredible game in a 1-game playoff. '81, we had a 1-game playoff, but more than those great games, Blummer, it was the guys. That core group of guys was together. Terry Poole and Craig Reynolds and Niekro and Dave Smith and, you know, my dad and Cheo, and just kind of that whole crew was together. And that's what I see with this team, is when a generation of fans can grow up watching the same guys day in and day out. That's what makes for a great organization.
Well, I think that explains too why there's so many people in the seats these days watching these guys play. They're easy to grasp onto and enjoy watching the game.
Yeah, and you know how it is. It's fun to root for guys that are good people too. And you know, your teams that you had here, I mean, kind of that whole, call it mid-90s to mid-2000s, had some really good guys that were with us for a long time, and seeing Scotty Service managing over there, it's great to see a former Astro doing well.
Full count, runner on the move, and there's a base hit into right field. Bregman will go first to third. Astros have runners on the corners with 1 out.
It's amazing to watch Josh this year. I mean, he has been the singles machine, clutch hitting, and it's good to have him back in the lineup here.
You mentioned all those heartbreaks in the postseason. I think that's probably why the emotions hit you as strong as they did last year when the Astros finally got over the hump in 2017. Is it easier now to relive some of those, the Mets series or the Phillies series, because some of these guys now for the first time are talking about the World Championship?
It's just great to see the pride that this town and this organization has. And
on the ground to short, Yuli try and beat it out, and he is just out at first base. Reed, thank you.
We got close. All right, boys, keep up the good work. We'll see you on the field Sunday, Jeff.
Appreciate you. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Reed. Reed Ryan joining us for the bottom half of the 4th. Half of the 4th inning, Gerrit Cole on the mound tonight. And we heard Reed Ryan talking about all the great Members of the Alumni out there in center field. J.R. Richard part of that group, and first 23 starts from J.R. in '79 and Gerrit this year.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good comparison. High strikeout guy. Some of the video that we see of J.R. Richard is absolutely some of the most explosive and dominant stuff you're probably ever going to see. He was a massive human on top of that mound.
JR would go on to 9 starts in a row after that where he simply dominated, where he pitched a complete game in all 9 of those starts as Kyle Seager takes a pitch to start the 5th inning.
A lot of people asking about, is the home run derby on Sunday that I'm involved in going to be broadcast? No, but there is going to be plenty of cameras. I'm going to have a mic on. I believe Preston Wilson's going to have a microphone on. So there's going to be plenty of footage, and we will try and roll that out during the broadcast of the Astros game on Sunday.
We'll make sure you see all the highlights of that home run derby if you're not able to make it live here on Sunday, as Kyle Seager founds one away. It's 1-2. Seager was the first strikeout victim of Gerrit Cole tonight. Gerrit has 3 strikeouts through 4 innings. He has been the model of efficiency as he starts this inning with just 38 pitches through 4 innings. Back-to-back 8-pitch innings. That's why we had to keep Reed on for an extra half inning, because Gerrit's been working through the Mariners fairly well and quickly as he strikes out Kyle Seager for his 4th strikeout of the game.
This date in Astros history is driven by Mercedes-Benz. Some of that J.R. Richard video I was hinting at from June 29th to September 6th of 1979. 9 straight complete games. Ex-teammate up here in the booth, Mr. Ashby behind home plate, catching some of those pitches, but you can just see the overwhelming dominance that a guy like J.R. Richard could create with that tall frame, the velocity, and then that turbo slider.
It's something that would never happen, maybe ever, unless baseball changes again dramatically to letting pitchers throw deep into games. But 9 straight complete games, and many of them in dominant fashion. 4 in a row of 1-run games, and then 4 straight no earned run games. They weren't all shutouts. There was an unearned run in the mix, but 4 straight games, complete game, no earned runs.
And on the season in 38 starts, he had 19 complete games, 313 strikeouts. Yeah, unless they change the game to where games were only 7 innings, you might have a shot. Even the analytics might pull guys out earlier than 7.
Looking at that rest of his season, after the 9-game complete game streak was over, 3 games after that he threw a complete game 11-inning outing.
What?
Got a W in an 11-inning game, finished it.
My gosh.
That is old school.
There was actually a loss in those 9 straight games too. He was 8-1 in those 9 straight complete games.
Lost a 1-0 game, one of those games where he gave up an unearned run, or one of those 4 straight 1-run contests. Cole ahead 1-2 on Ryan Healy. Gerrit Cole with 4 strikeouts tonight. He's at 206 on the year. Gerrit currently tied with Trevor Bauer, who starts tomorrow for Cleveland, and his own teammate Justin Verlander. He's 1 behind Chris Sale for the American League lead. Sale will pitch for the Red Sox on Sunday. Healy stays alive. 1-2. 48 pitches tonight, 75% strikes. Just a piece. Mentioned Martin Maldonado catching Cole for the first time. So far these two have looked very good. Just a Nelson Cruz double to start the 2nd inning. Mariners' only base runner. And Healy goes down on the breaking ball. That is strikeout number 5. Cole now tied for the league lead in strikeouts with 207. To go, where you'll save even more when you buy the whole room, and delivery is fast and easy. And by Nissan, innovation that excites. Old Astrodome program as we turn back the clocks tonight. Marwin Gonzalez leads things off for the Astros. Astros out hitting the Mariners 3-1. They've also drawn a walk from Mike Leake. So far, nothing on the scoreboard. It'll be Marwin, Tyler White, Martin Maldonado in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Marwin chops one foul. It's a ball and a strike. Appreciate Reed Ryan stopping by the booth. We'll be joined by Kevin Bass in the top half of the 6th inning. We're now with a 6-game hitting streak. Fouls one back. It's 1-2. Normally it's Mike Leake who has the pitch count in better order than his opponent, but tonight Gerrit Cole is through 5 innings with 50 pitches. Leake starts the 5th with 56.
Yeah, he works quick and he doesn't throw very many pitches per inning.
There's a base hit into right field. Marwin 2 for 2 as he signals between first and second.
It's now time for Lowe's whole team together. 1979 stolen base leaders. How about Enos Cabell? 37. Jose Cruz right behind him with 36. Cesar Cedeno, we've heard plenty about his abilities to play every facet of the game, but also Terry Poole sneaking in there with 30. But as a team, they led the National League with 190. It's the fastest team on turf.
They were running all over the place in the dome that year as Tyler White takes one outside for a ball. Pop wasn't there necessarily, so they had to keep manufacturing runs on the bases.
Yeah, not going to be too many 10 and 30 guys on that team, huh?
That 79 team at this point of the season had very similar numbers to the Mariners in terms of record and negative run differential. They were able to win a lot of close games that year.
I always remember the good pitching of the Houston Astros, and always had some good defense too. Some guys that could track it down in the outfield, and guys up in the middle part of the infield that could turn some double plays.
Counts 2-1 on White. Tyler grounded out his first time up. On the move last time he was on base and ended up getting caught stealing. Scott Service says he wants a little time for his guys to look at this. And he's satisfied that Marwin got back. There's a ball into center field. Maben on the move. He'll play it on a hop. Marwin going first to third, and he will get there. Astros with runners on first and third, and nobody out.
Tyler White going down to get this pitch in the bottom portion of the zone, lines it to center. And I love the fact that Marwin Gonzalez was running with his head up, watching the play. You could see him kind of back up, wondering if Cameron Maben was going to make the catch, but Cameron pulled up. And when he pulled up, that's when Marwin put his head down and decided to get to third. That was a very instinctive move on Marwin's part.
Here's Martin Maldonado. He's around a bunt, the old first and third bunt play, and he takes a called strike. He drove in a run earlier on this road trip, previous road trip with that bunt play. Mariners at 66 and 50. Despite having a run differential of -27. This bunt is down. Leake is going to field it and flip home, and Marwin will be tagged out. Maldonado got the bunt down, but Marwin tagged out coming home, so that'll put runners on first and second with one out.
Astros trying to play small ball with that first and third move. Mike Leake, for a pitcher, is pretty athletic, because you could see that Ryan Healy was not crashing on that play. What you'd like to see in this situation is Maldonado get that baseball a little bit harder and a little bit more angled towards first base, make the first baseman make the play.
Here's Jake. Big flight out his first time up.
Leake did a very good job of being in a fielding position when he came off, anticipating that bunt. Made sure of the catch and the nice backhand flip.
Two 2-0 the count. Astros had first and third, one out last inning, unable to convert after a double play. Now first and third, nobody out this inning. Jake now with runners on first and second in a 2-0 count. Jake, last 17 starts, hitting .347. Has an OPS during that time of over 1,100. Sends one to right. Haniger on the track. makes the play. Tyler White will tag and move to third, so the Astros will have first and third again, but this time with 2 outs.
Not a bad guy to have coming to the plate. He's been swinging the bat well of late. He's come up with some clutch hits.
Tony Kemp, 3 hits, a couple of RBIs last night. Tonight he is struck out and grounded out to second. Takes a pitch outside. Coming into this game, Kemp was 2 for 2 against Mike Leake. Mentioned the Mariners' record with a negative run differential. There's only been one team in the history of the game that had a better record with a negative run differential at this point of the season. That was the '79 Astros. '79 Astros not quite able to get to the postseason, but then set the table for a nice run in 1980. Down and in, almost hits Kemp. And it's 2-1. Kemp thought that was up. It's 2-2.
Seen some pitches in that top portion of the zone called. That one above Zunino's mask and up out of the zone.
Headings has not been a big fan of the Astros tonight, as some of those calls that could be 50-50 have gone the other way. That's close, and the Astros get that one. It's 3-2. So Maldonado will be off from first with 2 outs and a full count. Up the middle, that's a base hit. Astros take a 1-0 lead. Over to third goes Maldonado. Tony Kemp comes through again.
There goes that Tony guy again, Kemping it. It's a big base hit. 2-out lightning from the leadoff man today, and Tony Kemp not trying to do too much. Got a pitch down the zone, put it back up the middle. That's right, deserves a fist pump. Pick this team up, get them on the board. Hopefully break that seal against Mike Leake and get things going. Get this Astros offense going at home.
Big crowd finally had something to cheer about tonight. Some frustrating innings with runners on scoring position, unable to be brought home, and now a 1-0 lead. Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman first pitch swinging, fouls one away. Alex 1 for 2 tonight. Last night it seemed like the Astros were getting all their production from the bottom part of the order. This 5th inning rally started at the bottom part. Now Bregman to left field, and this ball will be off the wall. 1 run scores. Kemp to third. Alex Bregman an RBI double. It's 2-0.
Almost got us the exploding scoreboard, but the Astros getting things going here with 2 outs. That's what you like to see. Alex Bregman, throughout the course of the season, one of the better guys at driving in runs. Now 72 RBIs on the season for Alex. A little too hard and a little too low, or else he might have gotten that thing up into the Crawford boxes.
Big 2-out RBIs from Tony Kemp and now Alex Bregman. And that gives Carlos Correa runners in scoring position for the first time since coming off the DL.
Man, and how about the ability of Alex Bregman to continue to go out and get extra base hits?
37th double of the year. And a team leading 72nd RBI. Here's Carlos. Played 5 games in a rehab assignment at AA Corpus Christi. Went 3 for 16 with a double and a home run. Tonight he was walked on 4 pitches and then struck out his last time. On the ground towards third, Seager has it, and his throw across ends the inning. But the Astros score 2 and lead it through 5, 2-0. Kevin Bass next inning.
Was a magical year for the Houston Astros. A lot of it due to the fact that Kevin Bass was an all-star for the Houston Astros. Phenomenal year. Ended up batting .311 that season. 20 home runs, 22 stolen bases, 5 triples, 33 doubles, 184 total hits, and working down that right field side. It's good to have Kevin Bass.
There he is.
Houston
Those were the
Astro
days.
legend.
Kevin Bass, how you doing?
Great. Good to see you guys.
Great to see
Thanks for
you.
having me.
You are doing great. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to be here.
86, what a year that was.
It was fun year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of great times, a lot of great players, a lot of great memories. And you know, you look back on that, just the camaraderie. I think, from what I remember, it was just phenomenal as a team, and we all knew something magical, I think, was going to happen that year. We weren't predicted to do anything, but everybody on our team liked each other.
Did you guys understand at the time, like you're talking about the continuity of that team and how well you guys played, did you guys understand at the time that you were really laying down a foundation of what Houston Astro baseball was?
Yeah.
Or has become to be?
You know, that was always kind of one of the foundations and the blueprint for us as a team. You know, always run the ball out hard, play the game hard, don't embarrass the organization. So those were some of the main things that us as a team pretty much always adhered to. Like I said, the guys that we had such a good niche of guys, from young players to some of the older guys. It was just a really, really fine mix. And I think definitely it was just destiny that year. And it was just amazing year for us.
We had some great guys, as you mentioned, on that team. We still see Jose Cruz often here at the stadium. Billy Hatcher. Hatch was a young player at that point.
Yeah, he's a lifer, man. He hadn't pulled the uniform off yet.
Oh, yes.
Hey, man, he's a better man than me.
Glenn Davis was hitting bombs.
Well, how about the Astros had 2 MVP guys, or potential MVPs. Glenn Davis was second in MVP voting in '86. Guess who was 7th? Yeah, some guy sitting next to me, Kevin Bass.
The guy with the goatee. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Not the mustache?
Yeah,
What happened to the mustache?
The Groucho stash?
Yeah.
You know, I figured, hey, saw too many gray hairs in it.
Oh, come on.
You know?
Yep.
So decided to leave it in the sink one day.
That thing was legendary.
You know, I get that a lot.
Yep.
You know, and you know, maybe I shouldn't have cut it off, but you know, you move on.
Yeah, I think you're doing all right.
Not just because you're sitting here. I thought you could have made more than one All-Star team. I think it's a little easier now. The rosters have expanded, but what was that like to make the All-Star team at '86?
It was such a privilege. I mean, here I am in the locker room, and I'm looking around, and I'm seeing Dale Murphy, Tony Gwynn. And then you go on the American League side with Roger Clemens and Wade Boggs and all these great players. And it came to my mind, and I'm saying, wow, you know, you've named in this mix. You're one of these guys. And it was just such an honor for me. I mean, I just to be on the same field with these guys and to be in the photos with a bunch of these guys. It was just a great moment for me. And then to have it done in the city was even that much sweeter.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it was. For me, it was. I mean, it was very basically the highlight of my career. And to be a Major League All-Star, you don't set out to play this game to be an All-Star. You set out to play the game because you love to play the game.
Yep.
You love it and you want to win. And then when something like that comes along and falls on you, you're just so appreciative.
4-pitch walk to D. Gordon. The Mariners have runners on first and second to start the 6th inning.
How many times do you see that, Bummer?
Yeah.
Inning, base hit, or the previous inning. You know, you get a few runs, you knock some runs in, and the pitcher comes out. First thing he does, walks a guy.
You want to have that shutdown inning, and all of a sudden the first 2 guys are on.
Yeah, as many games as you and I probably played. I mean, how many? I've seen that so many times. So it's.
How many times have you wanted to run in from right field and start yelling at your pitcher?
Well, not just that, but you kind of understand it. But it's the intent. It just shows the intensity of the game, the adrenaline that a pitcher will have in the game, and all of a sudden, everybody wants to take that breather.
Yep.
But you got to keep the intensity up. You got to keep that intensity up and to realize that, hey, it's still a nut ball game. I got to go out here and do my thing. But he's going to shut him down. This guy's got too good of stuff. He's going to shut him down.
He is extremely good. When I grew up in LA watching a lot of Astros-Dodgers matchups, and we've talked to some of the legends throughout the course of the day already. What did it mean to you to watch the Astros beat the Dodgers to win their first World Series?
Ball high in the air near the rafters, and it hits the rafters.
Yep.
And it's caught.
He's out.
That should be. That's a fair ball.
No, third base umpire called it.
Yeah, he's calling it foul.
But I like where your heart's at, TK.
But the rafter where it hit looks like it's in fair territory.
That rafter basically runs along the foul pole. It feels like the foul line.
Bregman caught it. A.J. Hinch is still not sure if that should be ruled foul.
I think you might have a pretty good call right here, TK.
It hit the first part of the rafter where it's closest to fair territory, but I guess A.J.'s not going to challenge it.
Didn't have that problem at the Dome, did you?
You know, there was a couple guys that hit that roof.
Didn't Darryl Strawberry or somebody hit the speakers or the roof or something?
Yeah, well, yeah. Matter of fact, in the home run derby.
Well, he did that at the Big O, too,
he hit
up
that
in Montreal.
Yeah. So there's, you know, and
Mike Schmidt hit the speaker in the Dome.
Schmidt hit the speaker.
Was, yeah.
Yes, he did. Yeah, it seems some pretty weird stuff happened with roofs. Yeah.
So that's just a no play. Bregman's still discussing things with the third base umpire, Nick Lentz, but to no avail. When you have Mike Scott, Nolan Ryan, Bob Neppert, Jim DeShays in your rotation, is that when you knew that things might be special?
Very much so. You know, we always knew that teams had problems in the Dome. When the opposing team came to play us, and all you had to do is put somebody out there, the likes of those guys, and to be able to deal with any offense, and definitely so. I mean, playing behind Nolan, playing behind Mike Scott, playing behind JD. I mean, if some of the fans can remember the series where we clinched it, and it was, I think, the Dodgers, and then we played the Giants series, and it went two-hitter, one-hitter, no-hitter. And that, I mean, that says it all right there. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Dominance, yeah, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, so it was very much a luxury for us as outfielders, for us as defensive guys, to know that it was going to be a close game each and every night, particularly in the dome. And so all we had to do, if we could just scratch out a few runs, you know, our little offense.
Ball in the left field. It's going to score a run for the Mariners. Double by Mitch Haniger makes it a 2-1 game as Seattle gets on the board for the first time. But you were saying if you guys could scratch out a few runs, you felt pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I believe our starting pitching staff was comfortable enough with pitching a 2-run lead, 3-run lead, 1-run lead. You know, our guys were that good, and we knew it.
Here's the clincher.
Yeah, we're jumping around.
Now, when you guys went back in the clubhouse, realizing that you had the champagne celebration, did you guys have a chance to sit back and talk to Mike about that and go, did you realize that we just clinched with a no-hitter and how incredible that was?
It was phenomenal. It was great. I mean, it was just awesome, but it was typical because of what we saw from the previous couple nights.
Oh,
and
Chopper is a base hit.
Yeah, that was a tough play right there. So,
but what you saw was two-hitter, one-hitter.
Yeah, two-hitter, one-hitter, and it was just dominance. You know, the guys squawking at the umpires about certain pitches and this and that, and it was just hilarious. That was the part that was
mentally and physically.
Yeah, I mean, that was you know, you got Nolan Ryan throwing 95, 96 mile an hour with a cutter, and then with that big, you know, 12-6 hook that he had, and it was magical. I mean, it was something to really see, you know, from my point of view out there in right field, just watching these guys deal, and you know, it was fun. Just great experience.
Yeah, we didn't have a chance to, with the ball hit the rafters, when I asked you about when the Astros beat the Dodgers to win their first World Series.
Yeah.
You were watching.
Oh yeah, everybody hated the Dodgers. Nobody liked the Dodgers. You know, all that Tommy Lasorda, you know, I bleed blue and all that, and all the hugging and the kissing, you know, in the dugout. I mean, nobody liked that stuff. I mean, every time we'd go to L.A., pregame stuff, it was like some Hollywood. Some actor, somebody would come down, be hanging out with Tommy, you know. So it was. We had this feeling of, you know, you really wanted to get him. You really wanted to beat him, and to see that happen, to see, you know, the Astros, you know, just really pretty much blitzkrieg him. I mean, you know, they
got him good.
Oh, it was awesome. And to do it in Dodger Stadium, and it was quite a feat. You know. It was great to see, and just good redemption. Really good to see.
Josh Reddick puts that away, so Nelson Cruz flies out after the bunt attempt by Gene Segura, and there's 2 away.
So you've been hanging out there with all the rest of the legends.
Oh yeah, talking.
Who's the best storyteller, or what's the best story you've heard yet?
Eric Yelding is out there. haven't seen Breeze. We used to call him Cool Breeze because he had this big medallion that he'd wear around his neck, right? Trying to play second base and shortstop. But anyway, he's out there and he's just cracking everybody up because all his stories. And we had a great time in the dugout anyway when we were playing back, you know, late 80s, early 90s and stuff. And one of the things I always remembered, you know, the game was fun, but it wasn't fun every night, you know, depending on how well you did. But in that dugout, we had some characters. We laughed, and like I said, most of the teams I've been with, you always had a good time. You know, you got buddies, you had just this camaraderie of guys, and you can joke and you can get on each other and razz each other, and still go out and have a good time. And you come back 20 years later, and it's
just like you never left.
It's like you never left, you know. So, oh yeah, we just out there having a ball, and it's real neat because you see guys from each generation. You know, there's guys that are there that were before me, and then there's guys that are there that were after me. And I call Bidges' class and Baggy's class were after me. You know, it's always like this kind of this 10-year little spread, you know, but the stories are all the same.
Yeah.
They're all the same. you know, of course, you know, you always have the stories about
on the move, Jake, and
nice
a great
play.
catch to
Great
save
play.
a couple of runs.
Great play.
That looked like
Great
Kevin
play.
Bass.
Wow. Good jump.
Did that look like you?
Good jump. Yeah,
That's
it's
the
just
key,
about.
right? That's the key to making that catch.
You got to have a good jump. Yeah, good jump.
We can let you break it down for us if you want, but that was a great jump. And how about just the disregard for your body, too? A little bit better diving on this grass than that Astrodome turf.
I was just going to say that. A lot easier on grass than it is on that turf.
Yep.
You'd have had a couple hip burns and a couple.
Presented by Chenier, this family-friendly 5K and 10K benefits the Astros Foundation and the Houston Police Department. To register, visit astros.com/run. 2-2 game, bottom half of the 6th inning. Josh Reddick leads things off. Josh with a single his last time up. Pleased to have Kevin Bass in the booth with us for the bottom half of the 6th inning. I'm sitting next to two guys who at one point in their careers hit home runs righty and lefty in the same game. You guys are an exclusive club.
It's kind of cool to do that.
It really is. I mean, when you get that chance and that opportunity, you know, it's a good feeling. It really is. It really is.
Should be very proud of that.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a small club.
Yep.
And you know, particularly being a switch hitter, and I always tell people this, and I think a lot of switch hitters aren't really appreciating it. But you've got to be a major league hitter from both sides of the plate to stay up here.
You can sit up here as long as you want. Just keep telling everybody.
Well,
yeah, I'm with you.
We relate.
No, you're dealing with schizophrenia on the field. You have to be a big league hitter from the right left side. You're exactly right.
You do.
And you'll go through stretches. You probably do the same thing where you hit left-handed 10 days in a row, and all of a sudden they bring in a lefty reliever, and you got to go out there and produce.
That's right.
Yeah.
And all you can do is during BP, you know, cut up your swings.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a round of 8, you know, you get 4 on one side and you jump the other side and 4 on the other side.
Yep.
And you know, you look at that roster. I know I would look at that roster and see how many lefties they got in that pin.
Yep.
So it was very difficult. I don't know if you felt this way, but you know, all the hitting instructors that I've had, and I had a bunch in my career, not really a lot of them could ever relate to that. Pete Rose came up to me one day. One of the best things, you know, best advice that I ever received from a fellow switch hitter, and this guy's greatest hitter basically ever. He was one of my idols. So we were behind the cage, and he comes up to me and says, "Hey, Kevin Bass, hey man, you know, "Well, I like the way you run and this and that." Very complimentary. And I'm saying, "Wait, this is Pete Rose. How does he know me?" Right? And he says, "Hey, man, let me tell you something. One thing about switch hitting, never try to be the same from both sides. Whatever your strength is from the left side, keep it that way. Do not try to reproduce that on your right side or vice versa." And that was one of the things that I always thought about. Man, you got to be the same on both sides. You got to have the same pop or this and that. And remember Kenny Singleton for Baltimore?
Yeah.
He was the same. He was like a carbon copy.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Big 6'4", 6'5" guy. He'd go deep. Eddie Murray the same way.
Oh my
so
gosh,
those are my pictures, and I'm going, but dude, you ain't like that. So, but when Pete said that, I go, wow, that really makes sense. And I said, that's Pete Rose, okay? So that really helped me out. And because more as a left-handed hitter, I was more contact. I could hit the ball the other way. Every now and then, you'd throw some off speed, or if you missed off the plate, I could hook you down in there right center or right corner, right field. But I ain't going straight away left-handed.
Yeah.
Now, right-handed was different. I'd go straight away, left center, left, because that was my dominant side. And but it was a big relief for me. It was a big piece of the puzzle for me as coming into the major leagues and trying to be successful. And so, yeah, I mean, like I said, you could probably relate to that.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're a big guy, so.
Well, there were times that, but you were talking about mirroring the swing left-handed and right-handed.
Correct. Yeah.
I could not do that. I swung it. Did you swing a different bat right-handed than left-handed?
I choked up. I swung the same bat, but I choked up left-handed and got down on the end of the bat right-handed.
Because I swung a thinner handle right-handed and a thicker handle left-handed. I don't know why. It just felt more comfortable. Yeah.
It's the feel.
Yeah. But I was the same way. I was a natural born right-handed hitter, but way better with the contact, way better going the other way. Probably struck out less as a left-handed hitter.
Yep. And you had a really good swing left-handed.
Thank you.
You had a really good swing left-handed.
But like you said, it was a ton of practice in the tunnels without the hitting coach, because he was off out doing other things, and you had to make sure you were prepared for whatever was coming at you that night.
Watched a lot of film.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of film. I was a film guy.
Of course, with a couple switch hitters in the booth, the switch hitter on the field 3 for 3 tonight, Marwin Gonzalez.
There you go. He's going to start getting it going. Like I said, it's there's those years where you're hit 230 left-handed and then 400 right-handed. I mean, it's stupid, but you just hope as a player, well, let me start to make sure I play good defense so I can stay in the lineup.
Yep.
I mean, that's basically what it's like. And there's so many times. I mean, I remember thinking, man, these guys that have got one side, that's all they got to figure out. They just got to focus on one side. Man, I got both sides I got to try to figure out, And but I'd go back to my roots. My dad would always say, man, it's an advantage being a switch hitter, because first of all, you'll never be platooned.
Yep.
And second of all, you're an asset. You're an asset to that manager, because he doesn't have to use an extra play. So those are some of the things that I always thought about and kept in my mind. But it's either way, the game is still tough, but you got to be a major league hitter from both sides, switch hitters.
What was the biggest issue in hitting in the Astrodome for you and for opposing players, did you feel?
The biggest issue was keep the ball out of the air.
Yeah.
Keep that ball out of the air. For me, I could run, and the era that we played in, it was more of a speed defensive era. And one of the things about playing in the Astrodome was being that carpet. And you remember, the National League had a bunch of
those cookie cutter stadiums, St. Louis, Pittsburgh,
all those,
Philadelphia,
and they were the same. On St. Louis, like you said, I mean, and the turf was bouncy, especially playing 110 degrees in St. Louis, with no roof over your head, and that carpet is spongy, and so you keep that ball, you hit it on the ground, and you put your head down and run. You hit the ball in the gap, thinking triple, not double, triple. And if you get the ball, you elevate it a little bit, and it goes out, voila, that's great. But with the smaller ballparks we were just talking about now, I mean, I think the dynamics change, because now as a hitter, particularly this ballpark, you got the short left field fence, and kind of the ball carries a little bit. I think it carries better when the roof is closed, I think. In this ballpark, some of the alleys aren't extremely deep.
Yeah, not the alleys you saw at the Astrodome.
Exactly.
I mean, when an alley says 373, that's almost that's perfect.
It's perfect,
to be honest, because if you square it up like you say, it's going to go.
It's going to go.
Yeah, but from that bullpen to the right field corner is relatively shallow with a short wall.
Right, right. So I think still your mindset is more so aimed at that pitcher. It's like, okay, let me kind of narrow this strike zone a little bit. Let me see if I can narrow this strike zone a little bit, because I know that he knows that's a short wall out there in left field. And he knows that if I don't get that ball, if I'm a left-handed hitter, if I don't get that ball in on this hitter, on his hands, if I miss a little bit, he can still make a mistake and hit it over that HEB sign. So
we got to take a break here. We appreciate the knowledge.
I could talk forever
Mr.
now.
Bass, Kevin Bass, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you very much.
Great having you.
Love
talking to you.
See ya.
With former center fielder Gerald Young, former relief pitcher John Hudek. Great to see you guys both. Gerald, let's start with you. We just got a close-up look at a nice play out there by Jake Marisnick. Reminds a lot of us of some of the stuff Gerald Young used to do.
Well, yeah, that's what they tell me. It was a pretty good play. It was awesome. Got a great jump, great dive. I applaud him.
You give it a two enthusiastic thumbs up.
Exactly.
So how you doing these days?
I'm doing great. Just doing some coaching on the youth level and, you know, trying to have fun.
Yeah?
Yep.
Still love the game?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
And passing that love along to the kids. I know a lot of that. And John, you're doing the same thing. You're working with some kids as well?
A little bit, but I've got a different type of business now. So we do pools, but doing it's an exciting thing to still do today.
So got any good stories you want to pass along from your days? Maybe your all-star year of '94?
Well,
anything you can
there was, but I will have to go on a guy that's umpiring today, Joe West. I had a guy that I played with. One time saw him out, and Joe West asked, who's the short guy? And the guy goes, well, who's that guy? And one of the other guys on the team goes, he's the umpire behind the plate. The next day, and he goes, oh, my God. And so he was catering to him all night. And next thing you know, he's coming out in the next game, and Joe West is rubbing his stomach going up south. Gets out the left-hander, gets off the field. It was an experience back then.
And Joe is still going strong out there.
That he is.
Well, a lot of stories get better as the years go by, Gerald?
Yeah, much better. They get bigger, stronger, faster. Yeah, something like that.
Well, you played in the dome era still, back when speed was at a premium and the team was built around speed. Fond memories of that, where stealing bases and chasing balls down in the gap was still premium?
Yeah, the game was a little different back then. You know, with the big ballpark, we had to rely on speed, hitting the ball in the gap, great pitching. But now everybody just goes deep, so, you know, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it is fun to watch. A lot of long balls, but these two guys played a fun brand of baseball for the Houston Astros. I appreciate both of you guys being with me. Great to see you again, man. John, great to see you.
Appreciate it.
Everybody out here, the guys having fun, as you've heard, telling some great old stories, and they just get better by the day. Guys, back to you.
All right, Bart, good to see Gerald Young, John Hudek. Part of the alumni celebration, Legends Weekend here at Minute Maid Park. They are checking out a little Astros baseball out in center field as Gerrit Cole delivers to Ryan Healy for a called strike. Mike Zunino grounding out to start the inning. Gerrit Cole allowing 2 runs in the 6th inning, but was saved from possibly allowing more on a phenomenal catch by Jake Marisnick to end the 6th inning. Counts 1-1 on Healy. Jake went diving to the backhand side and made a play in left center field that prevented both Mitch Haniger and Denard Span from scoring with 2 outs. So we're tied at 2. And Healy grounds one, backhanded by Bregman down the line, and a strong throw to first for out number 2. It is time to play Name That Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Here are today's clues. Team leader, MVP race on the wall. If you know, send your guesses to @ATT Sportsnet SW. Two outs, bases cleared. Here's Cameron Maben. Maben started that 2-run rally in the 6th inning with a single to right field. Upstairs with the breaking ball. It's 1-0. Gerrit still with a very good pitch count going in the 7th inning. Into right field, Josh Reddick comes on and puts it away for the final out of the 7th. A 1-2-3 7th inning stretch time, still tied at 2. Leader, MVP race on the wall. And our answer tonight in Name That Astro, Jose Cruz. Cheo led the team in home runs with 9 in 79. Third in the MVP voting the next year. Had that number retired in 1992. Part of an unbelievable family here of baseball players.
Potential future Astros in that Cruz generation.
Trey was just drafted last year, currently attending Rice University. As we head to the bottom half of the 7th inning, Mike Leake ends up going 6 innings of 2-run baseball. Last time he faced the Astros, he went 6 innings of 3-run baseball. And he'll turn it over to Adam Warren.
Adam Warren coming over from the New York Yankees. Between New York and Seattle, he has pitched in 27 games. ERA 3.09, 32 innings pitched, 40 strikeouts. It's been a rough 5 games for him, allowing 4 earned runs. Fastball comes in close to 92 miles an hour. It's a changeup, curveball, and a slider.
It'll be Martin Maldonado, Jake Marisnick in the top of the order. Astros out hitting the Mariners 8-4, but tied up at 2. They had 8 hits against Leake in 6 innings up at Safeco Field the last time they faced him. Martin Maldonado fouls one into the screen above the dugout. It's 0-1. Maldonado has struck out, then tried to bunt home a run with first and third and nobody out. Bunted into a fielder's choice, and Leake made a nice play, getting Marwin Gonzalez trying to score. Warren throws a high percentage of strikes, second most in the Seattle bullpen in terms of the percentage of strikes, behind Nick Vincent, who we saw last night. One and 2 the count. Jake Marisnick waiting on deck. Leake ended up throwing 97 pitches in 6 innings of work. Gerrit Cole threw 7 with 83 pitches. No bullpen action at all going for the Astros, as Cole has averaged less than 12 innings or 12 pitches per inning. Center field, where Maven is, puts it away for out number 1. Jake Marisnick coming to the plate, and he has kept this game at 2-2 with this play.
Yeah, completely remarkable catch. It's a great adjustment. Kevin Bass in the booth said that Jake's been getting some really good jumps in order to make these plays. The catch probability on that was 38%. Sprint speed at 27.7 feet per second, much to the delight of Gerrit Cole, who couldn't believe it himself. Play good defense. Kevin Bass says he'll keep you around a little bit longer. If that were the case, Jake wouldn't have never left us.
Exactly.
He plays a phenomenal defense no matter what the bat is doing.
I'd like to respectfully disagree with 38%.
Yeah, I want to know who's fielding that at 38%.
I mean, he got a great jump. We already know he's got elite speed, and he was at the pinnacle of his dive, or the peak of his dive, in terms of how far he was stretched out. I'm not sure how many guys make that play around the league. 1-1 the count to Jake. Holds up. It's 2-1. Jake's had some plays defensively that we've questioned this year. The ball that he caught over Josh Reddick on the wall left center field, we felt could have been a higher degree of difficulty than he was given credit for. Jake rips one down the left field line, and this is a fair ball. Bounces away from Denard Span. Jake into second base with a double.
Jake's grimacing.
And D. Gordon's calling out the training staff for the Astros.
That's not good, but Jake raked this ball into the left field corner. You know what that means. Or the khakis on that last AB, they even have them in the rainbow color. That was a hanging slider that he turned on. Didn't exactly bolt out of the box. Right about there, you can see him trying to muscle through it. Maybe a groin. My goodness.
He's going to leave this game. assistant athletic trainer Scott Behringer walking off with him as A.J. Hinch will now look to his dugout for a pinch runner, and then somebody who will take over in the outfield, and that's going to be Derek Fisher. Jake was really hitting the ball well. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. We'll find out as he leaves this game after a double down the left field line.
Yeah, you get a corner infielder or catcher, somebody that kind of tweaks that groin a little bit, you're not worried. They're not in this position where they've got to sprint. Jake is a guy whose game relies on the wheels. That's why there's so much concern about that injury to the lower extremity. We're not sure yet. I'm only guessing in the fact that it might be a groin injury.
Tony Kemp just misses, giving the Astros a lead again. Kemp gave them a 1-0 lead his last time up with a single to center. Just missed an extra base hit down the right field line.
Personally, I thought it got over the bag. Joe West making the call foul.
It was good hearing Joe West stories from John Hudek.
Everybody's got a Joe West story.
One and one to count. Kemp is 1 for 3 tonight with that RBI hit with 2 outs in the 5th inning. It's not as dramatic of a scenario for sure, but Derek Fisher pinch running on second base at Minute Maid Park brings back good memories. There's a called strike. It's 1-2.
Yeah, he's pinch running, scored some go-ahead runs in games, hadn't he?
Yes. Including the most important one in Astros history, as it turns out.
He's got the J.O. socks going.
Wow, they are way up with the stirrups. Two and two the count. Fisher scored from second, of course. We're referring to Game 5 of the World Series last year with Alex Bregman walking it off. And then early this season against San Diego, Alex Bregman hit a pop-up with Derek Fisher on second. Eric Hosmer couldn't make the play, and it turned out to be about a 20-foot walk-off as Fisher sprinted in to score. As it turns out, it would not be the shortest ball hit for Alex Bregman. It turned into a walk-off.
Gonna make us explain that one again.
2-2 pitch. Kemp tried to hold up, and he does, and the count's full. Kemp stays alive. Against the A's, the other game we're referring to, Jonathan Lucroy had a little tapper in front of the plate that did not go well for Lucroy when Bregman avoided a tag.
Well, it was almost as if he was allergic to the baseball.
There's those Springer rainbow jerseys. A lot of them given out today before the game. Those are the official real deal jerseys in that Astros team store. Giveaway items were very nice tonight.
Yeah, they were.
Tony staying alive against Adam Warren. It's still 3-2.
Warren trying to figure out a way to get Tony Kemp out of there, but Tony has other ideas. Got a big hit earlier in the game to get things going for the Astros. Two-out RBI in his previous AB. Looking to back it up with another RBI hit right here.
This will be the 9th pitch of this matchup between Warren and Kemp. Inside, ball 4. Great plate appearance by Kemp to draw the walk. First and second, 1 out for Alex Bregman. The Astros and Mariners face off tomorrow. 10,000 fans in attendance will get a Carlos Beltran 2004 playoff bobblehead presented by Houston Methodist. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/promotions. Eric Fisher go-ahead run on second base late in the game, and Alex Bregman at the plate. Sounds like a good recipe for the Astros as we get a meeting at the mound.
Yeah, that might be the conversation. How to try and work through this situation. Looking back at home plate, you've got a guy in Alex Bregman, player of the month in June. He's back in his happy spot in that second spot for A.J. Hinch. Picked up his 72nd RBI of his previous AB.
Tony Kemp drawing a walk. He always seems to be in the middle of rallies. And now the RBI leader, Alex Bregman, who drove in his 72nd run his last time up, will back with first and second and 1 out. Takes a strike. Alex with his first multi-hit game since he faced the Mariners and Mike Leake on July 31st. Had 2 hits tonight against Leake, had 2 hits in that game against Leake. Ended up with 3 hits on the night that evening. This one popped in the air, shallow right. Out goes Gordon, in comes Haniger. Haniger is there for the second out. Well, one storyline didn't work out as Bregman pops up to right, but what a story it'll be if Carlos Correa can come through here. Correa's first game back off of injury, a walk his first time up. He has struck out and grounded out. Ground to short. Segura will make the play to second. And there you get Kemp on the fielder's choice. That'll do it for the Astros. Still tied at 2. Rockies coming to town. Colorado playing on Tuesday and Wednesday after the day off on Monday. Then the Astros will head out on a 3-city road trip, second consecutive 3-city trip. It'll begin in Oakland, the 17th through the 19th. Astros have a chance to play teams with records of 500 or better the entire month of August. Derek Fisher takes over in center field for Jake Marisnick after pinch running for him. D. Gordon leads off and fouls one back. Astros have left 7 on through 7. The Mariners have left 3. As Gerrit Cole works into the 8th inning. Other than Cole's one-hit jam in Arizona this year on May the 4th, where he struck out 16, he has not gone more than 7 innings in any start. Tonight he's having great pitch count going the entire game. 50 pitches through 5, now at 83 through 7. Two and two the count. Trying to bunt, and Maldonado has to get out there quickly. What a play by Martin Maldonado.
D. Gordon trying to outrun a baseball right here, and the machete cuts him down. That was a beautiful play. He recognizes bunt and immediately jumps out from behind home plate. Plant that right foot and throw a seed. What should have been a close play really wasn't. Great arm.
Gordon can fly down the line trying to catch the Astros off guard with a 2-strike bunt. He has 8 bunt hits on the year, but Maldonado prevented the 9th. Here's Mitch Haniger taking a called strike. Haniger driving in his 75th run of the year his last time up with a double to left, and now Cole ahead 0-2. Gerrit with 5 strikeouts tonight. Does not have a strikeout since he ended the 5th, striking out Ryan Healy. Gerrit thought he may have had one there. Instead it's 1-2.
Set up high, catches that top portion of the zone at 99. Gerrit Cole definitely wanted it, maybe even deserved it.
That ball was all over the strike zone, or MD Anderson strike zone, but not called that way by Doug Eddings. Now it's 2-2. Ball hit well to left, and this is off the wall. Kemp will play it off the wall. Haniger into second, and the throw will be not quite in time. Haniger with another double. He's at second with 1 out in the 8th.
It's been a good series for Mitch Haniger in that leadoff spot. Slider stayed middle. Got hit, luckily stays in the ballpark, and Tony doing his best to try and cut down Mitch at second base.
Haniger with 4 doubles in this series. We're only 2 games into a 4-game set. Also has a home run and a single. He has 6 hits in this series. Here's Denard Span. Span a little infield hit for an RBI his last time up, and this one is into center field for a base hit. Haniger will be held up as Derek Fisher's throw comes in. Mariners now with runners on first and third and 1 out.
It's a very cautious call by Scott Roches, the third base coach. Haniger can run a little bit, but Derek Fisher is not known for that arm. Jake Marisnick is out there, I understand. But a lot of third base coaches will recognize if the outfielder has the baseball before the runner gets to the bag, they hold him up.
Gerrit Cole getting a nice hand. He will leave this game after 93 pitches.
During yesterday's broadcast, but a pretty astonishing number to see the Astros, the only team in Major League Baseball to have given up fewer than 400 runs. 29 other teams well above 400, yet the Astros sitting at 377 currently.
Red Sox gave up 10 tonight, and they're still playing.
Yeah, it's been an interesting game up there in Baltimore.
Ryan Presley takes over, first and third and 1 out.
Presley's got great stuff. Made a ton of appearances with the Minnesota Twins. Used a little bit here with the Houston Astros. Great numbers. Strong whiff percentages and spin rates for Ryan Presley, and he drills Segura.
Gene Segura hit by a pitch on the first offering from Presley of the night. That'll load up the bases.
95 in on the hands. You just wonder where that got Segura. Did it get in on the hands? That's that two-seamer running in. Wow, right in the back of that left hand.
Segura hit by a pitch. He was 0 for 3 tonight. 3 for 5 last night, including a home run. And checking the back of that left hand.
Having been hit and had injuries in Major League Baseball, the part that drove me nuts, and I've yelled at trainers before, that come out, you get hit on the hand, you get hit here. They come out, and the first thing they do is push on it and go, does that hurt? Man, yeah. Guy just threw 95 off my knuckles. Yeah. I know they're in there doing their due diligence to try and find out if that, any broken bones, right. Can he make a fist? But man, that's a dumb question.
I already know I'm in pain.
Yes.
Let's not make it worse.
Tell you what, tomorrow I'm going to get the machine up to 95 and just put your hand in front of it, and then I'm going to ask you after. Did that hurt? Yeah, man. It's good news that he's flexing his hand, though.
How about here? Yes.
Yeah, that's a spot.
How about here? Yep.
Yep. Just got word that Jake Marisnick left this game with left groin discomfort. I'm not a big fan of the discomfort word because we've heard that so many times this season where guys have ended up on the DL. Hopefully that's not the case for Jake. But again, we talk about guys who rely on their speed and you start to get these strains or these discomforts in the legs. Not good.
Nope. It's a good call by you. That was what you thought initially. As Nelson Cruz bats with the bases loaded in an 0-1 count. Presley has faced Cruz 5 times in their career. Cruz has 2 groundouts and 2 strikeouts amongst his 0 for 5. Astros would take either a ground out or a strikeout here with the bases loaded and 1 out. Especially if the ground outs hit right at Carlos Correa or Alex Bregman or Marwin Gonzalez. Upstairs it's 1-2. Presley by far the most appearances out of the Astros bullpen. And all but 4 have come with the Minnesota Twins. This is game number 56 on the year for Ryan. 2-2. Number of appearances ties him for second. Big pitch coming here to Cruz at 2-2. Now the count's full and Presley frustrated with himself. The air to left field. Tony Kemp all the way back near the wall, looks up, and this is off the wall, off of Kemp's hand, played by Fisher. They will hold Segura at third. A 2 RBI double by Nelson Cruz, and the Mariners have their first lead of the night. It's 4-2.
Mariners have showed up in Houston swinging the bats, showing up a little bit later. It's always seems like it's a top portion of the order, but that is a center cut fastball at 96 that Nelson Cruz thought he might have gotten a hold of it, but it stays in the ballpark just off the end of the bat. It's not too often we see the Seattle Mariners do this to an Astros pitching staff.
Astros will bring the infield in with runners on second and third and 1 out. 3 on the infield will be on the right side against Kyle Seager. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Those 2 runs charged to Gerrit Cole. Cole's line will not reflect at all how well he pitched tonight. Cole goes 7 1/3 innings, allows 4 runs. Down and in, it's 1-1. Mariners came into this series knowing it was kind of a make or break week for them, playing 4 with the Astros and 3 with the A's. They had just lost 2 out of 3 in Texas. They won 8-6 last night and are leading tonight 4-2, despite having 2 fewer hits. Seager fouls one at the plate. It's 1-2. Presley got ahead of Nelson Cruz 0-2, but then missed with the next 3, and on the full count pitch, Cruz hit it off the wall and left. On the ground, runner trying to come home. Marwin will only have the play to first. Wound up being an RBI ground out for Seager as Segura scores. It's now a 5-2 game.
That ball hit pretty hard. Marwin goes into the splits, unable to pop out of there to make the play at home.
So a runner on third. Mike Zunino bats with 2 outs. And missed that first pitch from Presley. Segura comes around to score after being hit by a pitch. That run will be charged to Presley. The other 2 this inning charged to Cole. It's 5-2 Seattle. One the count. Sellout crowd tonight, 41,236. They have made a lot of noise this evening. But lately they have been quieted by this Seattle 3-run 8. All third strike. Presley picks up a strikeout to end the 8th, but the Mariners do damage, scoring 3 runs on 3 hits, and Seattle leads 5-2. By McDonald's. I'm loving it. Astros bat in the bottom half of the 8th inning, down 5-2. They led this game 2-0, but Seattle came back to score 2 in the 6th and 3 more in the 8th. And now the Astros will have to play from 3 runs down with 6 outs to work with, and facing the setup man for Seattle, who's been on a run lately, Alex Colomé.
He has been good. We saw him last night. Pitch well. Throws hard, good slider. 52 games between Tampa Bay and Seattle. He has 51 strikeouts in 50 innings.
And shutout streak, 16 2/3 scoreless innings going back to June 30th. Fifth longest active streak in the major leagues. So the Astros will try and change that around with Reddick, Yuli Gurriel, and Marwin Gonzalez. Josh 1 for 3 tonight, a single in the 4th inning. Guillermo Heredia has taken over for Denard Span in left. Colome, fastball slider guy. Throw the slider a little more often than the fastball. Last year, Colome led the major leagues in saves with 47. Now he's the setup guy for Edwin Diaz. Diaz picked up his 43rd save of the year last night. Inside almost catches Reddick. It's 1-2.
Making him move his feet with that slider. Throws it hard. You saw that last one at 91 miles an hour.
Swing and a miss, able to get Reddick with that slider. Josh frustrated for the first out of the 8th.
Bring the whole family out to the ballpark with Kroger Family Sunday. Every Sunday home game, you can get a family 4-pack that includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 sodas. 4-packs start at only $70. Visit Astros.com/Sundays for tickets and info.
Tonight, the 11th sellout of the season, as the Astros continue to make a push to get towards 3 million fans at home this year. It's been a remarkable season with 11 sellouts so far. Maybe we'll get another sellout or 2 before the weekend's over. Yuli Gurriel 0 for 3 tonight. Yuli flied out, grounded into a double play to end the 4th, and also grounded out to second. Yuli draws one deep to left field, hooking, and this ball's foul. Yuli almost connecting on his 7th home run of the year.
Yuli making a bid. We saw Tyler White take a hanging slider out last night against Diaz. Right here, Yuli trying to do the same thing, just got a little too quick, but that ball was hammered.
Yuli trying to snap an 0 for 11. Counts 1-2. Broken bat towards Segura. Yuli hustling and just out at first base.
Power Players presented to you by TXU Energy. Marwin Gonzalez 3 for 3 tonight. He's having a very good month of August. Hitting 400 this month. Showing some power numbers in there too, but it's always nice when you get a couple of knocks in the throwback unis because they go under hit tape.
Marwin, a 6-game hitting streak going and hitting well over 400 during that stretch. Now with 2 outs and nobody on. Marwin grounds one to first. Brian Healy is there. Colome with a 1-2 3/8 keeps his scoreless streak alive. 5-2 Seattle.
%54. Popping out of the dugout, helping out at home plate, and after that run is scored, just sheer jubilation afterwards. He doesn't recall much of it, but it was highly entertaining to see him out on the field showing some of that emotion.
Great moments, all of them, as Correa returns tonight for the first time since late June, and Colin McHugh takes over here in the 9th inning.
Colin pitched back in San Francisco last time, went 2/3 of an inning, had a strikeout through 9 pitches. Good numbers on the season for Colin.
Colin facing Ryan Healy, 1 pitch, ground ball. Bregman there, and he has 1 out on 1 pitch. It's efficient. Gerrit Cole 7 1/3 innings. Ryan Presley 2/3 of an inning. Gerrit ended up with 5 strikeouts tonight. He's now tied for the American League lead with Chris Sale, 1 ahead of Trevor Bauer and Justin Verlander. But frustrating night for Gerrit. He was sailing along through 5, 50 pitches through 5, and only allowed 1 base runner at that point. Here's Cameron Maybin into center, and Derek Fisher is there. Colin McHugh has come on and thrown 2 pitches and picked up 2 outs. McHugh, with these 2 outs in this inning, has now a sub-1 ERA. He and Blake Trinan, the only relievers who can say that in the American League. Knew D. Gordon would take that pitch. There's a strike.
Yeah, he had to. I mean, we saw an immaculate inning the other day with 9 pitches and a strikeout. Can't remember who did it, but I remember seeing that. What's a 3-pitch inning? That's got to be absolute perfection.
That would be
pure joy.
Pure joy.
We can call that the Manfred inning.
Nice. The most efficient inning, the highest in efficiency. Colin's been really good. What a transition it's been for him.
Yeah, it has been remarkable. And again, I know I say it a lot, but it's a lot to ask a guy to come out of the starting rotation and go into the bullpen. He had every right to just voice his opinion and be one of those disgruntled ball players, but he handled it extremely well, very professionally, moves out there and then just decides to go out there and put up a 1 ERA. It's been incredible to watch. Slider's been a big pitch for him.
2-2 the count to D. Gordon. And D holds up. It's now full count. Well, the Astros won't need another 5th starter until they play Seattle a week from Tuesday. Colin McHugh would certainly be a candidate. AJ also knows how valuable he's been in the bullpen. As Gordon slashes one the other way, Kemp was played that way and makes the play towards the line. So 1-2-3 inning for Colin McHugh. We head to the bottom of the 9th. Astros need at least 3. And preps for her Legends race in Oakland. All that and more coming up on Astros Bases Loaded tomorrow at 6 o'clock only on AT&T Sportsnet. On we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. The Astros will face the closer for Seattle, Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz picked up that 43rd save yesterday. He is 3 for 3 in saves against Houston. Tyler White did get to him. He will be leading off this inning. He got himself a hanging slider, but that doesn't happen too often against Edwin Diaz. Very good numbers on the season.
43 saves, by far the most in the major leagues. That was just the 3rd home run he allowed this year when White took him deep with 2 outs in the 9th inning last night. It'll be Tyler White. Evan Gattis will be on to pinch hit for Martin Maldonado. And then Derek Fisher. White 1 for 3 tonight, scored a run. Miller takes a called strike. He has struck out 3 in that inning when he allowed the home run, including Evan Gattis, who's on deck. He has ahead 0-2. Strikes out a lot. 94 strikeouts. 56 innings. 15.1 strikeouts per 9.
Strong, quite strong.
time he gets Tyler White swinging. And that's one out of the ninth.
RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Manage your dream team in franchise mode, plus get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone.
Evan Gattis gets a nice hand as he pinch hits here against Diaz. First pitch swinging, sends one to center field. Maven is there and puts it away for out number 2. So the Astros down to their final out in this game, trailing 5-2. Here's Derek Fisher. This will be his first at bat. He came on as a pinch runner for Jake Marisnick. Jake had to leave with a left groin injury after doubling to left. Diaz misses way up and away. It's 1-0. Mariners 51-0 when Diaz enters the game with a lead. Ball ripped. And Cintron off at the first base coach's box.
He almost ran into it. Ball was chasing him. Diaz has held left-handed hitters to a 133 average on the season. It's 11 hits and 83 at bats. Hasn't given up a home run to a left-handed hitter.
His 43 saves are 10 better than the next closest closer. Craig Kimbrell has 33.
Well, you were saying Colomé last year, the guy who set up for Diaz had 47 last year. He's going to beat that mark.
Yeah, 47 led all of baseball last year.
Man.
Diaz is one strike away from number 44.
Yeah, Scott Service wears out that bullpen, but that's a lot of reason why they've won so many one-run games also.
.22 saves in one-run games for Diaz. That's also the most in the majors. Three-run eighth, the difference in this game for Seattle. And swing and a miss. Diaz gets Derek Fisher to end the game. 2 more strikeouts for Diaz in this inning. And the Mariners, after trailing 2-0, come back to win 5-2. They have taken the first 2 games of this 4-game series, and in the process moved from 8 games behind the Astros to 6 games back. We will have more coming up right around the corner with a post-game show after this.